The night my parents dragged my 8-year-old daughter into the storm was the same night they finally learned something they should have understood years ago. Silence can look like weakness. Patience can look like fear. And a broken son can still be dangerous when he has something left to protect. Rain hammered against the old farmhouse windows like fists. Wind screamed through the trees. Thunder rolled across the sky so hard the walls trembled. I stood in the kitchen, trying to keep my voice calm. "Please," I said, "she's just a child." My mother crossed her arms. Her face carried the same cold pride it always had. "She needs discipline," she said. My father slammed his hand on the table. "And you need to stop acting like you're the man of this house." I almost laughed at that. I was 36 years old. I had served in places they couldn't pronounce. I had survived things they would never believe. But to them, I was still the son they could insult, control, and humiliate. And my daughter Emma, she was only leverage. Emma stood near the hallway, clutching a stuffed rabbit to her chest. Her eyes were wide, scared, searching for me. "Daddy." That one word nearly shattered me. I stepped forward. "No one is touching her." My father moved faster than I expected. Age had slowed him, but cruelty gave him energy. He grabbed Emma by the arm. She cried out. I moved instantly, but my mother stepped in front of me, shoving both hands into my chest. "You always choose that girl over family," she screamed. That girl, not her granddaughter. That girl. Then my father opened the back door. The storm roared inside. Cold rain sprayed across the kitchen floor. Emma screamed as he pulled her toward the porch. I saw her small feet sliding on the wood. I saw fear in her eyes, and something old inside me woke up. People think training is about fighting. It isn't. Training is about control. Breathing when others panic. Seeing exits when others see walls. Knowing exactly how far to go and when to stop. I moved once, just once. I stepped around my mother, caught my father's wrist, twisted clean and fast, and pulled Emma free before he understood what happened. He dropped to one knee, shocked more than hurt. My mother gasped. I lifted Emma into my arms. "It's okay," I whispered. "I've got you." But I wasn't looking at her. I was looking at them. For the first time in my life, they looked afraid of me. Good, because fear was only the beginning. People always ask how someone lets family treat them so badly. The answer is simple. It doesn't happen in one day. It happens one insult at a time, one excuse at a time, one holiday ruined, one boundary crossed, one apology never given. Until one day, abuse feels normal. My name is Daniel Carter. And before that storm, I had spent years convincing myself I stayed because family mattered. Truth was, I stayed because I was tired. Tired from war. Tired from divorce. Tired from rebuilding a life with a daughter who deserved better than what I could afford. After leaving the service, I came home with medals in a drawer and nightmares in my head. No one claps for you when the uniform comes off. Bills still come. Rent still comes. Loneliness comes fastest of all. Emma's mother had left when Emma was 4. She said I was distant. Maybe I was. Some days I stared at walls too long. Some nights I woke up shouting. But I never stopped loving my daughter. Never. When money got tight, my parents offered help. "Stay here for a few months," my mother said sweetly. "We'll help with Emma," my father added. That was 2 years ago. A few months became a trap. They reminded me daily that the roof was theirs. The food was theirs. The rules were theirs. And because I needed them, I swallowed every insult. Until they turned on Emma. That changed everything. I carried Emma upstairs that night and tucked her into bed in the small room we shared. Rain rattled the windows. She held my hand tightly. "Did I do something wrong?" she whispered. There are questions children ask that should break every adult in the room. That was one of them. "No," I said softly. "You did nothing wrong." Grandma says I make people angry. I felt heat rise in my chest. Grandma was wrong. She says Mommy left because of me. I closed my eyes. Some pain does not shout. It whispers. And that whisper can be worse. I knelt beside the bed. Listen to me, Emma. None of this is your fault. Not one piece of it. She studied my face carefully, like children do when they want truth more than comfort. Promise. I promise. She nodded, then finally lay down. I stayed beside her until she slept. Then I stood. And for the first time in years, I made a plan. Because storms pass, but some damage has to be answered. I walked downstairs slowly. My parents were in the living room pretending to watch television. My father wouldn't meet my eyes. My mother acted offended, as if I had caused the scene. Classic. I stood in the doorway. This ends now. My mother scoffed. Oh, please, you're unemployed living in our house with a child you can barely support. I smiled. It surprised even me. You think I'm helpless because I stayed quiet, my father muttered. Don't start. No, I said. I'm finished being silent. Then I placed a folder on the coffee table. My mother frowned. What is that? Options. Inside were documents they never imagined I had. Savings accounts, business filings, property records, and one signed agreement involving this very house. My father's face drained of color. Because unlike my mother, he knew exactly what he was looking at. And suddenly the storm outside was no longer the biggest problem in the house. My mother opened the folder with the same confidence she used when she thought she was about to embarrass me. That confidence lasted 3 seconds. Then her lips parted. Then her hands started shaking. This is nonsense. No, my father said quietly. He still hadn't looked at me. That's real. She turned to him sharply. What are you talking about? He swallowed hard. And for the first time in years, the loudest man in the house sounded small. Daniel bought the mortgage. The room went silent except for the rain. My mother laughed too loudly. You're lying. I'm not. She looked at me. You can't even keep a regular job. That's what you assumed, I said. Assumption had always been their favorite hobby. They assumed pain made me weak. They assumed quiet meant failure. They assumed simple clothes meant empty pockets. They assumed because I never corrected them. I pulled out a chair and sat down calmly. You remember when I said I was doing contract work online? My mother rolled her eyes. Computer nonsense. It was cybersecurity consulting. She blinked. My father stared at the floor. After leaving the military, I had been recruited by a private firm. They valued skills I learned overseas: risk analysis, systems security, crisis planning. The work paid well. Very well. But I lived cheaply. I saved quietly. And when my father nearly lost the house after bad business loans, I stepped in anonymously through an investment group. I paid off the debt. I owned the note. I controlled the future of the property. Not because I wanted revenge, because I wanted security for Emma. But now? Now security and justice were meeting each other. My mother's voice rose. So this is blackmail? No, I said. This is information. You ungrateful boy. Stop calling me boy. She froze. I had never interrupted her before. You don't get to insult me after what you did to my daughter. She was being dramatic. She was terrified. She needs discipline. She needs kindness. My father finally spoke. What do you want? Straight to the point. Interesting how fast pride disappears when power changes seats. I want an apology to Emma. My mother scoffed. Ridiculous. I want it sincere. She crossed her arms. No, I nodded slowly. Then here's what happens next. I slid another paper across the table. Formal notice. 30 days to vacate after transfer enforcement. My mother snatched it. You can't evict us from our own home. It stopped being your home when debt swallowed it and someone rescued you. Her eyes widened. You did this to trap us? No, I did it to save you. I leaned forward. You turned rescue into entitlement. My father covered his face with one hand. He knew every word was true. My mother stood suddenly. You wouldn't dare put your parents out? I stood too. You dared drag my daughter into a storm. She slapped me. Or tried to. I caught her wrist before it landed. Gentle, controlled, certain. Years ago I would have flinched. Now I simply lowered her hand. No more. She pulled back like she had touched fire. Then I walked upstairs. Conversation over. War had changed many things about me. But fatherhood changed what I would fight for. Emma was awake when I entered the room. Children always know when houses are shaking emotionally. She sat up. Are we leaving? I paused. Yes. When? Soon. She nodded slowly, then asked the question I didn't expect. Are Grandma and Grandpa mad? I sat beside her. Maybe. Did I ruin everything? There it was again. That poison they had been dripping into her mind. I took a breath. No, sweetheart. You showed me something was wrong. She looked confused. How? Because brave people tell the truth when they're scared. Her eyes filled. I was scared. I know. She leaned into me. I held her while thunder rolled outside. Some people think revenge is shouting, or humiliation, or destruction. Sometimes revenge is simpler. Sometimes it is protecting the person they tried to break. The next morning, the house felt different. Fear has a smell, so does uncertainty. My mother was suddenly polite. Coffee was made, breakfast was offered. My father kept disappearing into the garage to make phone calls. Probably to lawyers. That was fine. I had already spoken to mine. Emma came downstairs wearing her yellow rain boots, though the storm had passed. My mother smiled too sweetly. Good morning, sweetheart. Emma moved behind my leg. My mother's smile cracked. Children know sincerity better than adults do. I looked at my mother. She remembers last night. My mother snapped. I said good morning, and she chose silence. Learn from that. We left for the park after breakfast. Nothing dramatic, just a normal morning. But while Emma played, I sat on a bench and watched sunlight break through clouds. Peace can feel strange after chaos. Then my phone rang. Unknown number. I answered. Mr. Carter? Yes? This is Principal Hayes from Lincoln Elementary. My stomach tightened. Yes, I'm calling about Emma. There have been some concerning comments in class. Cold moved through me. What comments? She told a teacher she gets punished for making adults angry, and that storms are safer than family dinners. I closed my eyes. Sometimes truth from a child sounds like poetry. Sometimes it sounds like evidence. I'm coming in today, I said. When I hung up, I looked at Emma laughing on the swings. My parents thought last night was the problem. They had no idea it was only the first thing being uncovered. And once truth starts coming out, it rarely stops.